Dog. Hey, what is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm talking about a movie called Where'd You Go, Bernadette, starring Cate Blanchett, directed by Richard Linklater. Now I'm going to keep this review real short for you guys, so just buckle up. I hate myself. I really do. I don't like who I am. It's not a cry for help if you don't want help. Anyways, guys, back to the review. Where'd You Go, Bernadette is based off a very popular novel of the same name, and for myself, I have not read many books in my life. I'm not a very intelligent person. The fact that I've read any books is just astounding. I am 25, and I've read probably 10 books, front to back. Most of them are Harry Potter. So like 2 books, let's be real. I didn't really have any expectations for this. I kind of went in blank and I came out with a fairly good time. And I'll just get into some of the things that I really like about this movie. Now, if you're going to any movie with Cate Blanchett in it, you're going to see Cate Blanchett put 100% of herself on the screen. And that's the thing that this movie really delivers on, is performances. There are really great scenes trickled throughout this movie that kind of showcase the talent of the actors and actresses that they put in this movie. You know what, just call them actors. They're all actors. That's what they do. That's their job. All their actors are not phoning it in. They're putting 100% of themselves on screen. And that's the thing about this movie, is that it's a very performance-driven movie. Going into this movie not knowing much about the source material, and for myself not really caring much about the source material at hand, I went in the movie fresh, not knowing anything, and I came out with a very fulfilling experience, but nothing I haven't really seen before. This movie reminded me a lot of Ben Stiller's The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, where someone just kind of abandons their life and goes to find their creativity, find their spark, find this kind of spirit to live. This movie takes a really long journey with Cate Blanchett's character, Bernadette Fox, as she kind of overcomes this depression, this sadness, and this overwhelming anxiety from some of her past failures that have come back to haunt her in some ways. And this movie is really about recovery, and it's about finding that creativity again, finding that spark and that will to create. And her being an artist, her being an architect in this movie kind of drives this whole rebuilding, and it's this little rebuilding of her life that we get to see as it gets torn apart, as people around her don't really understand who she is, what she's about, and they don't understand why she's so hurt. And so throughout this movie, people are kind of making decisions for her against her will. And throughout the movie, you get to see little parts of her past that kind of paint this whole picture of who she is as a character. And I think Cate Blanchett really does display Bernadette Fox's character at the fullest. And I think that's one of the best things about this movie. However, this movie felt very familiar to myself. Like I said, it reminded me a lot of The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, where the movie is beautiful to watch. It looks great. The pacing is pretty good. But overall, I feel like this is a pretty standard film. Knowing a lot of Richard Linklater's past films, you kind of feel like that this movie does not stand out amongst them. It kind of feels like a movie that was directed by somebody else. And I couldn't help but get that feeling out. And actually, I did not know that Richard Linklater was directing this movie until the very end credits. So that's kind of how blind I went into this movie. I watched the trailer for it. I saw Cate Blanchett was attached. Anything that she is in, like I said, is 100% of herself on screen, giving us her best. So I'm like, how could I miss that? You know, how could I miss the queen? So overall, the movie is very inspiring in a way. If you are a creator, if you are someone who loves to make art, this will kind of spark your passion. That'll get you on the right path. It's kind of one of those feel-good movies where at the end you feel this catharsis. You feel like a weight's been lifted off your shoulders. There are other movies that serve that same purpose and that do it just as well, if not better. And I could make a list of recommendations for that movie. But the thing is, if you want to go see this movie and you aren't the intended audience for this movie, or you've read the book and you feel like this movie would be a great adaptation, I think you'll find a lot of enjoyment out of it. For myself, though, I felt like it was pretty lackluster. Now, I sound like I'm being harsh, but I was definitely not the intended audience for this movie. I was in a theater alone amongst a bunch of middle-aged women, and then I started to realize, hey, maybe this movie's not for me. You know, I'm not gonna see the same group of people at Avengers Endgame. I'm not gonna see them at the next Spider-Man movie. But for the people that read the book, I feel like they got a lot of enjoyment out of it. A lot of people were crying at the end of the movie, whereas I felt like, you know, I had an emotional moment with the movie, but I wasn't connected on that level like they were. And maybe, just maybe, it's because I don't read a lot of books and I'm a stupid boy who only reads comics and the occasional novel to make himself feel smart. Overall, guys, I would give this movie a 7 out of 10. I feel like the movie was very beautiful to watch. It's very well shot. It makes you a little bit interested in architecture. It gives you an appreciation of art and creativity and making your own things, being a hands-on person, and it kind of gives you that inspirational kick that you might need, especially for me who makes content every now and then. It was a nice inspirational kick that I needed to get my ass moving. Also, the movie's story takes place in Seattle, Seattle, and it was really cool to see the Space Needle in there, and it was really cool to see Seattle. So I guess I have some personal bias in that. Overall, I think you won't leave the movie thinking it stinks. It's not that. It's just a very safe, feel-good movie with very strong performances, and there's nothing wrong with that. So like always, guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and if you guys liked the video, go ahead and like it, share it, do whatever you want with it. In one of my last videos, I think I mentioned the studio that made this movie, Annapurna, and they're a studio to look out for. They always make something pretty interesting in terms of indie movies. So, you know, didn't disappoint me. Wasn't one of their best, but also wasn't one of their worst. So, like always, guys, I will see you later.